In the ancient land of Bharat, where rivers whispered prayers and mountains guarded silence, there lived rishis, whose power astonished kings and warriors alike. They were not armed with swords, nor did they rule with armies, yet their presence was so radiant that even emperors bowed before them. Their secret was not written on stone tablets, nor proclaimed in markets. It was carried in silence, hidden deep within their disciplined lives. This secret was the mastery of semen retention, the conservation of the seed that holds the essence of creation. The rishis believed that within every drop of this sacred essence lies the potential of life itself, the blueprint of the universe condensed into pure energy. To waste it was to weaken the body, scatter the mind, and dim the spirit. But to preserve it was to kindle a fire that transformed man into something greater. This fire was called tapas, the inner heat of discipline, and it gave the rishis a power that even kings envied. One such story is told of Rishi Kaushik, who in his youth was no different from other men. He was born in a noble family and trained in scriptures and warfare. Yet, despite his learning, he was restless, distracted by desires, and easily swayed by temptations. His body grew weak, his focus shattered, and his spirit remained unsettled. One day, wandering in the forest, Kaushik met an old sage meditating under a banyan tree. The sage's eyes glowed like fire, his skin radiated vitality, and his presence calmed the birds and beasts around him. Kaushik humbled, bowed and asked, "O revered one, what is the source of your strength? You are old, yet you shine brighter than a youth." The sage smiled and said, "My son, the secret lies in the seed. Men waste it in ignorance, chasing fleeting pleasure, but the wise guard it as treasure. When preserved, the seed does not decay, flows upward, nourishing body, mind, and spirit. It becomes knowledge, discipline, and divine vision. This is the true source of a rishi's Shakti." Kaushik listened with awe. Determined, he chose to follow this path. At first, the journey was filled with struggle. His mind was restless, desires pulled him back, and his body longed for indulgence. But each time he resisted, his willpower grew stronger. Days became weeks, weeks became months, and slowly Kaushik began to feel changes within. His voice became firm, his eyes sharp, his thoughts clear. The energy he once wasted now surged through his veins, giving him vitality. In meditation, he felt currents rising through his spine, filling him with light. He began to understand scriptures not just as words, but as living truth. His discipline turned into wisdom, his energy into presence, and his presence into power. Soon, Kaushik was no longer an ordinary man. People from villages and kingdoms came to seek his blessings. Wild animals walked calmly in his presence, and storms seemed to soften when he prayed. Kings visited him, leaving behind their crowns, realizing that the strength of armies was nothing before the radiance of one disciplined soul. Such was the power of semen retention. It transformed Kaushik into Rishi Vishwamitra, one of the greatest sages the world has ever known. His Shakti was so immense that with tapas and energy preserved, he even rivaled the gods in creation, shaping new worlds with his will. The rishis knew that semen was not mere fluid but ois, the subtle energy that sustains life. Preserving it gave rise to brilliance in the eyes, calmness in speech, and fearlessness in action. It created an aura that drew people naturally, as if touched by unseen magnetism. In their ashrams, students were taught brahmacharya, the disciplined way of life, where energy was not wasted but transformed into strength and wisdom. This is why even emperors like Chandragupta and kings like Janaka bowed before sages, for they realized that what armies could not achieve, the inner power of a rishi could command. There is another tale of Rishi Bhajarata, who performed unimaginable penance to bring the sacred river Ganga down from the heavens. People often wonder how one man could summon divine forces that even gods hesitated to release. The answer lies again in semen retention and tapas. Bhajarata, seers of conservation and discipline, built a fire within him so great that the gods themselves respected his determination. His Shakti was not borrowed but cultivated, and with it he changed the destiny of generations. Even today, though times have changed, the teaching of Rishioki Shakti remains true. Modern life distracts men with endless temptations, draining their energy and weakening their focus. But those who rediscover the secret of retention unlock hidden strength. The body regains vitality, the mind becomes sharp, and the spirit finds peace. Like the rishis, they shine with quiet power, inspiring others without needing words. Their aura speaks, their discipline leads, and their presence uplifts. The great masters always taught that retention is not suppression but transformation. If energy is hoarded without direction, it creates restlessness. But when guided through meditation, service, and creation, it becomes divine. The seed that can create life can also create poetry, inventions, wisdom, and spiritual awakening. It is the raw force of creation itself, waiting to be channeled. This was the true teaching of the rishis. The seed is not ordinary, it is sacred. To guard it is to guard one's destiny. To direct it is to transform one's life. Rishi Kaushik's story is but one among many. Countless sages discovered the same truth and left behind legends that remind us of the forgotten power within. Their temples may have crumbled, their kingdoms may have faded, but the secret of their Shakti remains alive in their teachings. It whispers to every man who seeks strength, discipline, and higher purpose. The choice is always the same: waste the seed in weakness, or preserve it to awaken greatness. Those who choose wisely walk the path of the rishis, carrying within them the fire of transformation. Thus, the secret teachings of semen retention are not just about physical health or success, but about spiritual evolution. They remind us that within every man lies the same potential that turned Kaushik into Vishwamitra, that gave Bhojarata the strength to summon Ganga, and that made rishis shine brighter than kings. This is Rishioki, Shakti, the power born from discipline, conservation, and transformation of the seed. It is not a myth, but a living truth, waiting to be rediscovered by those who dare to walk the ancient path. Before we conclude, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop your location in the comments. I'd love to know where you're rewatching from. And if you ever have any questions, join our Telegram channel where we interact directly and help each other grow. The link is in the description.